right, we are going to call to order the regular planning board meeting for Monday, July the 28th at 7 p.m. I think we have everybody in attendance, so determination of a quorum is for surely met. Conflict of interest statement. In accordance with the State Government Ethics Act, it is the duty of every board member to avoid conflicts of interest. Does any board member have any known conflict of interest with respect to any matters on the agenda? If so, please identify the conflict and refrain from any participation in the matter involved.
Nope.
Steve, you?
No.
No.
Nancy? And no. Good. Moving on to approval of minutes of May the 27th, 2025 Planning Board meeting. Approval, any edits?
No edits. Motion to approve is presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. All right, for public comments, individuals are allowed 3 minutes to speak and must only comment on current agenda items. A maximum of 30 minutes is allocated to the public comment period. The time limit may be extended at the discretion of the chairman. We've
Mr.
got
Chairman.
our thing.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to request that at least my board member comments be moved up on the agenda because I might not be able to stay for the whole meeting, depending on how long the new business goes. If that would. be
Can we
okay.
do that?
Sure.
And do we have to make any kind of special?
Since we don't have an approval of the agenda, you can, when you're ready to go.
Oh, I was just thinking after the public comments, I could just, if that would be okay.
Do you want to do public comments first?
No, yeah, let's have public.
It's
comments
just,
first.
it's just Mr. MRI. So we'll do public comments. Let Chad come up.
Good evening. Thank you all planning board members. Chad Ryan, Eagle Road. I just wanted to speak on the appendix 2 on old business 8B or 6B. In the updated version B37 on the septic, I'm requesting that the board amend that and add the old verbiage of row 51 with some new wording. The current UDO row 51 states Union County Environmental Health approval of the proposed lots for septic tanks. I'm proposing using that plus the notice of intent common form if they use the EOP process. Both serve the same purpose and the county reviews the records and records both options. This verbiage has been in here and we should not change it. I've spoken with both Union County officials and state officials in wastewater on numerous occasions, and they've confirmed this is a reasonable request for conditional zoning approval. Line B37 describes all the relevant information that would be provided if the Union County approval or on the NOI common form. That form is turned into the county and they have to review it for errors within 5 days of being turned in. Keystone did that before the council voted on their neighborhood and approved it on Deal Road. If this work is done, then it should be turned in to avoid any confusion. Not having the approval is like a college accepting a GPA without providing the transcript to prove that the work was done. Without turning it in, the approval is setting us back to accepting their word and not submitting proof like we are requiring for stormwater, for example. It's been in the UDO for years and it should not be altered and open us up to gray areas. In fact, if you go back to minutes years ago, this was commonly submitted along with stormwater calculations, yet at some point, some of our enforcement on some projects did not always occur. If we do not require this, then we open the door to the lot layout potentially changing. We have several interconnected requirements and the council needs to know what they are approving can be built as depicted. Conditional zoning approval is an approval of a layout, and having this appendix as clear as possible helps ensure council knows exactly what they're voting on. Any shift in septic fields could have an impact on your lot layout, which in turn could have a ripple effect from your stormwater ponds, your cul-de-sac length, your tree ordinance, you name it. At last council meeting, they said unanimously they want items like this with as much detail as possible. We need to adjust this language on this item, but overall, I think this change is a great step and will be very beneficial to the town. Thank you.
Thank you, Chad. That concludes the public comment list. So now we will march it further down.
Sorry, need water. Is this on? Okay. Sorry. I just wanted to make a few comments because quite honestly, I'm still a little bit confused on when it's appropriate to speak out and when it's not. But I'm confident, as our chairman said, that anything that we say during our meeting, during comments, is completely appropriate. So that's where I'm going to try to set the record straight.
Do we,
There-
excuse me, do we need to amend the agenda?
We don't
No.
vote on
No.
the agenda.
Okay.
But thanks for bringing that up. There's been a lot of confusion, speculation, and quite honestly, some accusations about what the status of the Hunter Farms conservation status is. So I want to put that on the record because I know it's going to be coming up in future land use decisions. Specifically, people are concerned about whether that conservation status can be reversed. It cannot be. It is all a matter of public record. The property considered the Hunter Farm has deed restrictions placed on it and that prohibit any development. In addition to that, and you can look that up at the Register of Deeds. The Catawba Lands Conservancy is the organization, the land trust that holds that easement, and it is an easement. It's not deeded to them. It's kind of like a utility easement, you know. But there are a lot of covenants that we have to abide by. They come out every year to make sure that we are abiding by everything, and it's an annual audit for them. So I just wanted to clarify that there are people who somehow think that we're going to have commercial creep or whatever. It can't even be developed residentially, okay? So I just also want to tell you, and people say, well, why did you do that? You're just waiting for it to do that. Nope. We wanted to preserve the family farm and the town's heritage, quite honestly. Interesting little factoid. Some of the roadbed from original Providence Road, that dirt and gravel came off of our farm. So we've been here for a long time. So is that farm always going to be a farm? I can't guarantee that because all farms have to have farmers. And I don't know what's going to happen in the future. But I know what's not going to happen. It can never be developed into a residential or commercial property. And so, I mean, in 50 years, it might be somebody's big front yard. I don't know. But I just want to state it for the record that there's no need for anxiety from the town about it. Okay? And just one more thing. Perry South was not named after Jeff Perryman. Sorry, couldn't resist.
Does that conclude that?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for the insight. Thank you. All right, moving us back to number 6, old business. Old business A was the discussion and possible recommendation of text amendment 2025-05, section D9, 17CA. We got rid of this one, right?
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. We had agreed at a previous meeting that we are not supportive of this proposal, and so we effectively tabled it indefinitely. I would recommend as staff that we table this again.
I'll make a motion that we table.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Awesome. All right, moving to the next one, which is going to be review and recommendation of text amendment appendix 2B submittal requirements.
Thank you, Chairman, members of the planning board. So at the previous meeting we had, which was not in June, but in May, we had a comprehensive review and overhaul of Appendix 2B, which is the submittal requirements for subdivisions, essentially. All the materials that are required to be presented as part of the schematic plan or sketch plan for a development, effectively all the preliminary information that the public as well as the planning board and town council reviews in order to do a conditional zoning approval for development. This is not construction documents. This is not super technical information, but these are things like the size of the lots, the size of their setbacks, the dimensions of the property, and even more technical information that may not be in the planning board or even the town's purview, but which is important information, such as where the septic fields are located, where the stormwater ponds are located, and the size and dimension of the stormwater ponds to determine that they have adequate capacity to serve the development. The intention of these ponds, in the case of a high-density development, is to contain all the water on site. So while we may not have authority to say what a septic field is appropriate, what type of septic field it is, it's absolutely within the purview of the town of Weddington to say, is it being served correctly? Are there steps in place? Have you done the appropriate authorizations to get these approvals? So our previous Appendix 2B was somewhat ambiguous. There was considerable disagreement between staff, the council, and the planning board about, what criteria met that threshold and what projects had been considered complete when going to the town council. And so I think we were in unanimous agreement at the time of the planning board and staff that we just changed this Appendix 2B so that all current members were on the same page, and also, frankly, putting to task the planning board of saying, we have this checklist in front of you. We should not move anything forward to the town council until we're all in agreement that all these items have been met. The Appendix 2B was revised and brought before you all and unanimously recommended 2 months ago. That went before the town council earlier this month. That was very well received, except for one item, which we had discussed at length at the time of our last meeting, which was in regards to kind of those septic items, which again is not in our purview, but we're determining what information is appropriate. And so I have on your screen here the original language. This was originally 2 items that talked about these things, and this board, after discussion, recommended for approval the language that the identification and delineation of proposed septic systems, including locations of drain fields, repair areas, and associated infrastructure, if applicable, was a requirement to be brought before this board. We brought it before the town council, and we wanted to be very clear what that meant. Do we want it just to be, hey, they provided enough information for us to interpret, or is that actually something that should be brought to other agencies? So kind of the idea of like, is this information that we're supposed to interpret, or is this information that somebody else has already interpreted and said is fine? And we settled on the latter based on the feedback from the town council. We want someone else to have reviewed this information and determined that an application was already submitted. And so the subcommittee met on this item last week, and Mr. Dieter was kind enough to send an email today that revised this language, which is on your screen, that says basically the same language plus associated infrastructure with approved improvement permits or public sewer lines if applicable. And it also defines what delineation means in terms of this situation. So what we're saying here is we're not only saying that you need to provide the information that we're looking for, you need to provide it in the form that a appropriate agency has recognized and has already reviewed, whether that's the county or the state. More than likely, it's now the state. Previously, we had language that said Union County approval, which is what our public comment referred to. Frank,
That's true. Yep, have to. So any I would love to have it all in the ground, okay? You ask me personally, every bit of it, but that's not realistic. You know, but I'm sure that if we talk to them and, found out a little bit more about what our